Jade. Hey guys, I thought we'd do a really fun article because we've been doing really serious ones between Julie and Scott's house coming down and the Home Depot having issues. And so this is a fun one. This is about the smartest birds and what are the smartest birds. Here's my little birds. Mine are the smartest. Just joking. So, this article is in Birds and Blooms, and it's by David Majewski, and it's called Brainy Birds and America's Smartest Bird Species. So, this is an interesting article because we kind of don't think of the birds as smart necessarily, but we think of them more like reactive and um, to us if we're going to get a bird. But I think this covers pet birds too. So the article starts with our smartest bird species roundup proves that the phrase bird brain, okay, is actually a compliment. Learn about the intelligent birds and their behaviors. So it says when it comes to the smartest birds, we humans have a lot to learn. Bird intelligence comes in many forms, and scientists are finding that many species exhibit intelligence similar to that of marine mammals, apes, and even humans. So they're going to go on and list the birds and their intelligence. This morning, my little guy here, Mashuki, let's see which one is down here. Hi, honey. That's Mashuki. He's right at the bird feeder. He totally sees himself on the camera. Very quickly, he will see himself. Before anybody even walked by my window this morning, just like a watchdog, he started his little call. These birds are amazing. He picked up, it's just when they pick up a ill intent, and I read this is absolutely a fact. They pick up, because you got to remember, hi Trenzy, their wild habitat, they can tell from hundreds of yards away if something is near the vicinity. Movement, they pick up movement. He picks it up through the walls. I don't get it. And I don't feel, and this just goes to show how intelligent they are. He totally picked up something. And about a moment later, a guy, walked by my window. I didn't think anything of it. He walked by again. Didn't think anything of it. I noticed he kind of looked in. Didn't think anything of it. But, and then he walked by again and again. This male bird gave out a distress call in direct reaction to that. Was it anything really to be nervous about, or was it just an alert call? I think it was just an alert call. But I gotta tell you, if 2 o'clock in the morning there's something different out here, this bird will wake me up. The male bird. So anyway, so we're talking about really smart birds. And my little finches here, and I still, yes, have the blanket on them. And you can see I have them right here. Right here, you see that little blanket and the little clip up there? That's purposely covered because they want that corner of the cage covered to because their nest is on that side. Now see, he didn't do any kind of distress call with the horn beeping because that's happened several times a month. It always, noises that are familiar to them, it doesn't matter if it's like a noise. It can be a noise, but it needs to be a noise that's making sense to them and is not considered different or maybe predatory. So, but these guys, it is they research the Bengalese finch. They're so tiny. That's why you can't really see them. You'll see them kind of moving around in there. But they study them because they are so intelligent, guys. You got to remember too, they have senses that you and I don't have. They see in ultraviolet, um, so they can pick up energies that are good or bad. That's a real thing. You know, when people say they can see auras, our physical eyes really can't. Maybe your third eye can. Yes, there's two birds in there, guys. Two little finches, the Bengalese finch. See, he just moved. I think that's Mashuki. That's the male. That's Mashuki. So he's extremely protective of of everything, of this household, of his little mate, Umi, and he's just amazing. So the article that I'm reading, it's by Birds and Blooms, and it's talking about really smart birds. So this next bird, this they talk about parrots. Parrots come to mind with our ability to solve problems. They form emotional bonds. So do these guys. Just to let you know, if you're thinking of getting a finch, they also form emotional bonds. They mimic speech. These guys try, but they can't do it. And even understand some rudimentary grammar. These guys understand so many words. And I found out by mistake. Like I would say the word water and they're jumping over to their water, or I put the water on and they're chirping and chirping, they want water. and or some other words like foods. They know they're different foods. So now corvids, including crows, ravens, jays, and magpies, are renowned for their intelligence, especially ravens, right? But we can't have them as pets, at least in most states. You can't. So many our backyard birds are not. I don't know what this means. Are no slouches. Take a look at the smartest bird species that get bragging rights for their brainy behavior. So they go into the next title. Here is the smartest birds planning and memorizing. These guys have memory to a T. I'm telling you, the Bengalese finch know right to the second the time, like at 5:58 at night. If the female finch, and I looked at the clock, if she is not in that nest, what did I say, 5:48? Yeah. He will come down out of that nest, and in it, not in a bad way, but he pushes her to go up into the nest. And I'm amazed at the clock because how they do that, because we've shifted our hour, the sun shifts in its timing every day. It's amazing. So this article says some birds, especially woodpeckers and jays, they will hoard nuts for feeding, collecting and catching, caching the food, and is an example of planning for the future. So the bird's ability to find their hidden treasure later demonstrates they have excellent long-term memory. So we know that just by observing our wildlife. Similarly, fruit eaters such as robins and cedar waxwings remember the specific trees that they have their fruit buried at. Humming, and that's hard to do. As you walk through a forest after the third tree over, you can get lost. Hummingbirds recall which individual plants in their habitat are rich with nectar and will return each year to that vicinity, to those exact flowers, trees, and bushes. So, guys, if you're gardeners and you do have certain gardens and you're like, I'm not going to do that garden this year, think about it. because you may have a specific wildlife, a specific bird looking for that plant for you to keep that garden up. So the smartest birds work together. And look what they're giving a picture of, guys. So you know what bird that is. That's your raven, right? These ravens are super smart. Smart birds work together, and they understand the concepts of mutual benefit much more, I must say, than human beings. Because way back in the Depression time, humans would work together, families would stay together, and know that that way they're saving money, they're saving things. I'm just saying the wildlife is a wonderful example for us humans. People went away on that one. Okay. But they work together and they understand concepts of mutual benefit and greater good. The Harris hawk of the Southwest hunt in family packs together. And similar to the wolves and lions working together to get their prey. Wild turkeys, which we have a ton of right now. And for those of you in Vermont, you know this is turkey hunting season, I guess. But the turkeys all along the road, don't think they're not smart. Don't think they haven't figured out that they cannot be shot. They're along a road. There's tons of them, right? Probably 50 feet from the road, maybe 25. That's smart, guys. So wild turkeys line up wing to wing and walk across fields. They know they can flush more insects in that formation than if they scattered or walked single file. Crows live in a highly structured family group that is made up of several generations. So they readily team up. They're taking their bath right now. My birds are taking their bath, guys. They readily team up to the mob predators, knowing there is strength in numbers. So we're reading about the smartest birds. If you're just joining us, and this is by Birds and Blooms. The smartest bird species are even wise enough to transcend species barriers. Chickadees, nuthatches, for example, have been observed. Let's see. Excuse me, sorry guys. Chickadees and nuthatches, for example, have been observed responding to each other's predator warning calls in a kind of predator alert symbiosis. The smartest birds recognize faces. So I'm going to take the camera off of Mashuki because he sees himself moving. That is their bath time, and that is his little bit of upset call. Just let you know. And he's okay now. It's okay, honey. Yeah, hi, Umi. That's Umi. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture here. This is just showing you just a really pretty picture. And we have, well, I've got something in my email that is really fun, like some funny pictures. So we're going to look at that too. For those of you who really love your wildlife. So many birds bravely defend their nests. They attack the potential predators to drive them away. And this defensive behavior is typically indiscriminate. Any perceived threat is a dive bomb. And I know Mashuki here, the male, defends. If he thinks anything is out of the ordinary, he will defend his nest for his female. Okay, so researchers determine this Um, oh, sorry about that. I skipped one paragraph. So, yet another study is the northern mockingbird, documented that they not only recognize the individuals uh, of a potentially dangerous species, but so figure that out, guys. They can recognize an individual badger, an individual fox, an individual lion or dog. I mean, think about that. So they recognize the individual of the potential species, but a dangerous species, but remember an individual's past behavior, and they will single him out for an attack. So if there was a baby fox, for example, it didn't know any better, it was trying to get into a nest. When he grows up a little bit, they're going to remember that fox and they're going to dive bomb him. He may not even remember he went for the nest. So researchers determine this by asking a series of people to approach a mockingbird nest. I'm going to show you what the mockingbird looks like, just for those of you who don't know. It's very pretty sounding bird, guys. It has a beautiful whoops language. Let me try this again. I'm in the wrong. Hold on one moment. The mockingbird. Okay, get you a good image here. It sounds beautiful, but this is the mockingbird. He kind of looks a little like my little Bengalese finches, only he has a longer beak. He's bigger. He kind of looks like a blue jay a tiny bit, only he doesn't have the crest. So that's how you know it's like a mockingbird. Plus, you'll know by the music, the sound of it. It's gorgeous. Okay, so one particular person approached the nest. This was their little test. Several times. The birds learned to recognize this individual and could actually pick him out of a crowd. They didn't even need to do that several times. They do it once, and these birds will know. And you know why? Because they see with ultraviolet vision. That's how they see. They marked him as a threat and preemptively attacked him while ignoring others who randomly walked by the nest. So this behavior has been reported and in other species as well, including the robins. I'm sure it's a common trait of birds in general, guys. I'm just saying. Further research could well reveal that still other kinds of birds have this ability. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so it goes on to say that. And do they have a picture here? This is the mockingbird right here. Okay. Oh, is this letting me scroll? It's not. Oh, here we go. Look how gorgeous. It's just a lovely, pretty, it's a pretty bird. Now, I think we're going to talk about birds that mimic. And for those of you who are not familiar with the woods in Vermont, you could be in the woods on a trail with a friend especially, or even if you're talking to yourself. People do that all the time. And then later on the trail, you hear yourself or you hear like your friend's voice. There are birds that mimic, and they mimic quickly in the wild, and the raven is one of them. And it is an absolute fact, guys. So, they're going to talk about birds that mimic. So, speaking of mockingbirds, they astonishingly in their ability to learn and mimic foreign noises. They get their name, of course, from the ease from which they can deliver songs of shrikes. That's what it says, shrikes. Blackbirds, orioles, killdeer, jays, hawks, and even frogs. Other smart birds are almost as versatile. And they're going to go on about stellar jays. The mockingbird, if you haven't heard the mockingbird, the reason why they're so beautiful, is they'll put a string of different melodies together. It's incredible, guys. The other place I lived, we had a mockingbird, a couple of them, and they were just down by the pond and just beautiful singing. So Steller's jays mimic many wild birds, as well as chickens. I didn't know this. Squirrels, cats, and dogs. Did you know that, guys? Stellar jays mimic other birds, as well as chickens, squirrels, cats, and dogs. The blue jays expertly imitate red-shouldered hawks. European starlings learn and repeat the songs of eastern wood pewee, killdeer, meadowlarks, and many others. They even mimic cell phone ring tones. Did you catch that, guys? We're talking about the smartest birds and the things that they can do. And it just said the European starlings. Nobody looks up at a starling. Why, I don't know. But guess what? They can imitate other birds such as the killdeer and the meadowlark, which is a beautiful bird. But they can also imitate your cell phone ring tone. Think about that one. And other noises. In captivity, the exceptionally intelligent raven has been taught to mimic human words. So I did some research on this, and the raven doesn't need to be taught. They just do this. They can do this out in the wild, guys. So the smartest birds solving problems. So they show you right here. Look, they're showing you an eagle. You see what he's got in his clutches is a fish. See it? They're in mid-air, guys. And the fish is straight. Okay? So, some smart birds are so savvy that and they're savvy enough to use trial and error to adapt new situations. The bald eagles have been swimming across the surface of the water, dragging prey behind them after attempts at holding on to the prize while in flight proved ineffective. They also, ineffective. So they'll also crack ice with their strong beaks. Then they jump up and down on it, breaking through to expose the open water for fishing. So they've learned to break open ice. And they've also learned that dragging a fish in the water doesn't work. That's why they rise up out of the water very quickly, because that doesn't give, the fish doesn't have any pull that way. And we also know that the smartest bird species understand cause and effect. Seagulls drop mollusks and crustaceans from high in the air, letting them crash onto the rocks to crack the hard shells. Ravens often follow sounds of the hunter's gunshots. They've learned that such noises mean the possibility of scavenging, because they're hunting. The smartest birds use tools. So they're showing you another bird here. These photos are just gorgeous, guys. You know where birds come from, guys? Dinosaurs. So yeah, they're smart. Tool was once believed to be exclusive to humans, tools. That's what they meant to say. Tools were once used to be exclusive to humans. One of the things that is set apart from all other species. But study has shown that many other species use tools to survive. We take for granted that nest-building birds use twigs, plant fibers, hair, spider webs. mud, and even plastic nowadays to build nests. A definite tool use. Other, even more astounding examples have come to light, though, showing how much smarter birds are than previously thought. Predatory shrikes, lacking the strong talons of raptors to grip their prey while feeding, use thorns or even barbed wire to impale their victims for easier eating. Seriously, guys, I mean, I know we're talking about a bird, but that is amazing. Woodpeckers, and this is specifically Gila woodpeckers, use bits of bark for scooping up honey to bring back to their young. That's genius right there. Green cranes or green herons have been observed fishing with bits of bread that people have tossed out to the ducks. So they use the bait to lure small fish to the surface where they are actually caught easier. So they're watching us. They learned from us, I believe, and we've learned from them for sure. And one of the oldest and most whimsical stories of a bird using a tool is in the Aesop fable, The Crow and the Pitcher. In the tale, the crow drops pebbles into a pitcher of water, raising the level of the liquid so it can take a drink. Animal behaviorists have confirmed that this trick wouldn't be beyond the capacity of a crow. Actually, they have a crow on YouTube or on Instagram who does that. The owner drops the food or something into the water and it's floating on the water and the crow can't reach it in the container. So he goes and he throws in stones and till it rises and he gets it. So the crows do that in real life. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this article to you guys. I thought it was especially interesting. And so that's just an article on the smartest birds out there. And to me, it seems like they're all pretty darn smart, guys. So with that, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. I send you love and light.